Happy Monday. Hope everybody had a fantastic weekend. Weather warmed up here in Tampa, Florida, but now it's got down into the high 60s today, so worked out to be a pretty nice day. So I've got my dear friend on the phone, Chris Veal with Sagicor. Going to go over some different things on what Sagicor can do to add to your briefcase. And before I get Chris on the phone, her and I worked on this deal 2 weeks ago for an agent that went into a home. And the reason I'm sharing this in the beginning is so in the event you guys have a question you would like to ask Chris, please do. Agent called me and said, Joe, I've got a client, Jay put the lower, I got a client who wants to get a program that is permanent for the life of their life, and they'll do well, and it can all be done at the same time. $1,000 term 20 program. Premiums were fantastic. The rates were great. The underwriting was very simple. So the client was extremely happy. So what's happened is that a lot of us focus strictly on final expense. We're now starting to get into more of the living benefits, more term products, more standalone accidental programs. So think about this when you're with a client and the client doesn't know exactly what they want to do. So a lot of times what they're looking to us as professionals is advice on how we can provide them a solution for what they need. So with that said, Jay, can you open up Chris, please? Chris, good morning.
Hi. Good morning, Joe. How are you?
I'm doing absolutely fantastic. How was your weekend?
It's going really well.
Oh, good, good. Well, what I'm going to do is kind of let you do what you do best, kind of go over the no lapse you well the term and kind of go over how they can combine a term and a universal life with one app and get it done to where we can kind of be a little bit different than the average agent out there who's just doing one thing for a client.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for the opportunity, as always, Joe. And thank everybody on the line this morning for being in attendance. Again, my name is Chris Veal. I'm an internal sales representative at Sagicor Life Insurance Company. You guys are welcome to contact me anytime that you have a specific case design, and I will be happy to assist you in running some quotes or figuring out if a case will fit, a need will fit one of our products that we have available. As Joe mentioned, the process with Sagicor is very easy, but going into it, eyes wide open is very important as well. So what I want to do is talk about some of our Simplify Issue products. Joe has mentioned the term life as well as the no lapse universal life. So I just want to give you a few specs on these, and some of you have been on these calls before and have heard this, but I'm going to reiterate some of the information that you already know, and then we can get into some details. First of all, the term life product that we offer. Some of you asking, I know you understand what Simplify Issue means. Through Sagicor, our process is through e-application, and it is called accelerating. Accelerating is a process that is designed with a software that will return an automated underwriting decision to you within 2 minutes of submitting the application. Now, the three decisions that return, some of you think, well, is that going to be an approve or decline? Yes, it's going to be approve, decline, or refer to home office for producer appointment or for further review from the underwriting department. What that means is, the best process or the best things that you can do to be successful in this process is to be fully appointed with Sagicor. If you submit an application, which we do allow just-in-time apps, however, you do have to have a writing number with Sagicor before you can submit an e-application. What happens if you're not fully appointed and you get a referral, it's coming to the home office and it's on hold with producer appointment. So the process is going to work on that 2-minute decision if you're fully appointed already with Sagicor. If you have any questions about contracting, you can contact Joe or you can get a hold of me as well, and we can go over that. Once you're fully contracted with Sagicor and you're submitting your first application with us, whether it be a no-lapse universal life or the term life, then that 2-minute decision will flip around. Again, the 2-minute decision is going to be an instant approval, an instant decline, or it will refer to home office for review. In the event that it gets referred for underwriting, then we're looking at more of a 2 to 3 day turnaround time on an underwriting decision. Now, you may ask, why would it be referred to underwriting? In this process, it's simplified. However, we really depend on your good field underwriting that you can do out there with the client. We do have knockout prescription lists. We do have a document that we can provide that can help you through that field underwriting process. But in the event that, let's say you wrote your client a standard because you just weren't sure in that process if they were going to qualify for preferred. Application comes over, it gets referred to home office for review. Maybe the client is a preferred, in which case the underwriter would offer a preferred rate class. Once we approve for a preferred or a better than rate class than what you wrote initially, then there's really no communication that goes to you. We generally will just issue the policy and get that out to you, the client, at the better rate. On the flip side of that, if it's a preferred rate class that you wrote and they get a standard approval, that's going to come to you. Communication will open up between the agent and underwriting. They will let you know what the offer is, what the new premium is, and at that time you would go back to the client and determine whether or not they're willing to accept the new rate. So that becomes that ball's in your court at that point. As far as the term life face amounts, we offer a 10, a 15, and a 20-year duration on the term. We have a minimum face amount of $50,000, and in terms of simplified issue, our face amounts are going to vary. So if you'll bear with me on the variance here with the term life, you're going to really like this. If you're applying clients 45 and under, you can apply up to $1 million in the simplified issue process. At which time, if there is some issues with the rate class that you wrote, underwriting would then come back to you for more information. But generally, in that process, there will never be a paramed completed, so no blood, urine collected from the client. It's all done through the Excel Writing e-app. If the client does not qualify for the simplified issue process, then we would be talking about moving up to $1,001,001 so that then underwriting could order medical records or get a paramed if necessary. And that would be completely at your discretion and up to you. Excuse me. For 55 to 46, we will allow you we will simplify issue up to $750,000 on face amount. And then 65 and under, 65 to 56, you're looking at $500,000 and below on the face amount would qualify for simplified issue. Process, again, we offer, risk classes starting with preferred plus, non-tobacco, preferred, standard. Then we also have some additional risk class for preferred plus tobacco, preferred tobacco, standard tobacco, and then a substandard up to a table 8 if you're going in a fully underwritten situation. The term life has guaranteed level premiums. There are conversion credits available in years 2 through 5, convertible to age 70. Just keep in mind, this is a great product, like Joe was talking about with the mortgage protection. The term life or the no-lapse universal life are really great products. The no-lapse universal life, which I'm going to flip over to very quickly, is like your GUL in the industry. It's your permanent life policy. It's got a maximum face amount of $400,000 for anybody 65 and below. That would be that simplified issue non-med process. Once you get up into those higher face amounts, then it's different. It becomes a fully underwritten situation. The no-lapse universal life, I'll come back to that. The term life, we want to talk about living benefits in those products. I think what sets us apart, maybe not totally, but we do have some living benefits built into the term life product, which sometimes you see, not very often. We do offer a accelerated death benefit rider for terminal condition, as well as for nursing home confinement. There are details in our product brochures that are available that we'd be happy to get out to you if you're interested in knowing the details of those living benefits. For the no-lapse universal life, again, $400,000 and below, 65 and under, would be eligible for the simplified issue process and non-med. I think that's a very generous face amount for somebody who's not going to go through a paramed, blood, urine, very non-invasive. We do offer 5 risk class in the no lapse universal life. We've got a preferred, non-tobacco, standard non-tobacco, preferred tobacco, and standard tobacco. Now we do on the fully underwritten situations a substandard up to table 8 on those as well for fully underwritten. As far as living benefits in the no lapse universal life, we offer accelerated death benefit for terminal condition as well as chronic illness. We do not offer any critical illness, but we do have chronic illness. Chronic illness with Sagicor is defined as a client who is unable to perform 2 of their 6 activities of daily living, at which point they could submit a claim form and receive in advance up to 25% of the death benefit that's available. Always with Sagicor, a death benefit is left behind for final expenses. So keep that in mind. The minimum on the no lapse universal life and the accelerated death benefit is $25,000. That is the minimum death benefit in that policy as well. So it doesn't really fit your final expense need, but is an option. It's a little higher than what you're probably accustomed to seeing for final expense. But the $25,000 is a good starting point with Sagicor. It's the lowest death benefit that we offer. And then also, real quickly, I do want to touch on. We just rolled out a new product, and it's not really going to fit what you're accustomed to as far as final expense needs. However, it is another option that I would like to speak to you about. We did just recently roll out our Sage Indexed Universal Life product. This product is going to be a cash accumulation hog. It is a really, really nice and competitive product in the market. We do offer a minimum face amount of $100,000. There's no maximum on that product, and we did fit that into our accelerating process. So this is something that we will probably want to get a little bit more into detail, Joe, on our next call that you invite me to, hopefully. And I'd be happy to talk a little bit more about the fixed indexed universal life. But if that's if that term has kind of tweaked your interest or piqued your interest, please give me a call and we can go over some details on the fixed indexed universal life. Very nicely designed for clients who are looking to have access to some cash in the future. We have some index strategies, some strong participation rates and caps on those strategies that are available in that product. It as well comes with some living benefits too. So this is a new product. It just rolled out in January, and it would be something I'd like to focus on in our next call. Accelerating is unique to each product that we offer. Accelerating for the term, for the no lapse, are going to be very similar as far as what we accept and what we don't accept in the process. And then, Joe, I'm going to turn it back over to you and see if there's any questions right now. I'm going to take a little pause, and you let me know if there's any questions, and then we can go on to maybe talking about that process a little bit more.
Okay. Does anybody have any questions? If you do me a star two. The question you have really could be of anything that you want. Maybe something happened to you before with another carrier. Chris, do you accept this here? If you didn't understand something she may have said, please ask. So if you do me a star two. Okay. I got somebody. Who is it? Galen Orr, good morning. You're on the air.
Yes, I got on a little late, so excuse me if you had already answered this question. But do you have a product where you could do a three-way and not, necessarily be at the client's home and do something like a telephonic app like that?
That's right. Yes, thank you for that question, Mr. North. Yes, that accelerating process that I mentioned, it does not require a face-to-face meeting. It can be done over the telephone. The electronic application is fairly simple. If there may be some that have done electronic apps. It's just the paper app. You're just typing instead of writing that application. But never do you have to be face-to-face with a client. It can be done over the phone, and for the signature process, you're going to have 2 options. You're going to have a sign now option or a send email request option. Now, when you're conducting the business over the phone, you're going to always use the send email option for a signature. Basically, in the process, all you do The system does everything for you. That generates the email, the body, the content, the process for the client. You just make sure to initiate that you're sending the email. It goes to the client. They use the last 4 digits of their social and their date of birth to access the application, and then they go through a review process step by step. They're reviewing the documents that you data entered. We want to make sure the client sees all the information that you inputted. And then at the end of their review, they get a sign option, and they click on it. And they type their name one time, the city and state that they're signing in, and hit I consent, and they're done. It autofills the entire application with the signature, as well as all the disclosures that are required, the illustration, all of that's signed, and all of that is packaged up and received to the client. So we've made it simple as far as the signature process. That goes for any product that we offer in the Simplify issue. Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I was going to say the problem I had with one actual client, I was doing that. It wasn't with your product, but he wasn't really computer literate. He didn't have a computer. I told him he can go to the library, open up his email, and it just never got done. So I'm going to physically have to go over his house and do a paper app. Have you ever thought about having it where you could just do a voice signature over the phone?
You know what? That's a great question. We're not there yet at Sagicor. Maybe eventually we'll get there. Right now in this process, it's just very important that we get the type signature through that electronic process. Now, the other option that you have is the sign now option. So, I know that it's not feasible with every client. They may be, across the state or even across state lines. So that's not an easy drive to meet with a client. Generally, what I suggest is if so there's no paper app available unless they're over 65. So 66 and up is fully underwritten. Then a paper app becomes available, but with the Simplify Issue products that we offer, there's no paper application. So in the event that you have a client that doesn't use an email or doesn't have a computer, then you wouldn't be able to write the product, unfortunately. Maybe one day we'll get more technical and offer some of the voice signature features, or maybe a share screen feature to help the agent assist the client in walking through. Right now, we just don't have that available. Now, I do suggest, if they are close, you do have a sign now feature. So let's just say you have your iPad or your laptop, you've completed the application with the client, now you're ready for signatures and they're having difficulty. First thing to note, I do have screenshots available that can help you through that process with the client to walk them through. I'd be happy to provide if that time came. But the other option you would have is to meet with the client, open up your iPad or your laptop, access the application, flip that over around to them, and let them and use the sign now option. Just click sign now and let them review from your screen, type their name from your screen, and consent. But again, that's only in that face-to-face meeting, but it is available if you need it.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Good, Galen. Good questions. Thank you. Anybody have any questions? Do me a *2. Chris, I got an agent that just texted me now, and I think I heard you right. If I apply for a person and I apply for them as a standard, and they're not a standard, they qualify for a preferred, you won't get that right there at the time of application. Standard, no, we're going to offer a preferred. It's going to say refer to underwriting. Is that correct?
That's correct. That's right. It's going to refer to underwriting. When we're going up in risk class, we've kind of simplified that process at the home office where, everybody likes a lower price. So if they get a preferred offer, we're not going to we're going to just issue with that offer, the policy. So there's no communication there. It's just a better price. It's a surprise you've got a better rate because you qualify for a better risk class. Opposite when it's a lower risk class. When it's a lower risk class, then we are going to be opening lines of communication to the agent to make the offer and give them the opportunity to get that sale with the new price. Lower the face amount at that time. If you have may say you applied for $200,000 and they got a rated non-tobacco. Rated non-tobacco is a risk class in all the Simplify issue products. The rated non-tobacco is a blended rate class. So it can be anywhere from a table 1 to a table 4. You would never know because it's blended, and it's just a risk class that we offer. It's there for those clients with minor medical impairments, such as type 2 diabetes. I like to use that one. It's very common. Type 2 diabetes patients or clients would qualify as long as they're not insulin dependent, as long as they're managed by medication, diet, or exercise. In that case, then the rated non-tobacco, you could always decide, because of course that premium is going to go up quite a bit. So at that time, the agent's going to have an opportunity to say, hey, would we like to lower the face amount to get that price into a budget, you know, and to fit the client's need and their budget as well.
So if I'm in a house with a client, I offer them a preferred, which we all want to offer them the least expensive, and it comes back as a standard or a rated. The agent is going to see that right on their computer where they can offer it to the client right then and there, either to accept the higher rate or to lower the face amount.
No. So what happens is it'll say refer to home office, at which time the agent would say, well, okay, you got referred, which is okay. It just means that a live underwriter needs to look at it, and I'll get back to you within a few days. So about 48 to 72 hours, the agent will then receive an email with the offer from the underwriter, and at that time he'd be able to get back with the client. So there is a delay. If it gets referred, there is a delay of a few days.
Okay. I just got another one here. Right now we know that ages 18 to 65, or really 16, but 18 to 65 can have a no-lapse UL face amount of $400,000. What if an agent wants to write your product, yet they want to get it fully medically underwritten on a face of $250? Is that available, or is it just non-med under 65?
That's right. Great question. It is non-med to age 65. So we do not offer a fully underwritten option for anything below that face amount threshold. So if they don't qualify for that $400,000 or below in the Simplify issue, then we have to take them up to a maximum of $401,000 or to a minimum of $400,001 in order for it to become fully underwritten. That, or you'd have the option to switch to a fully underwritten product, and right now that would be possibly the fixed index UL. I'd have to see how that works, though, Joe. So we'll hold off on talking about that.
Okay.
Hoping that to fully underwritten.
Guys, if you want, take out a pen and paper, and I just want you guys to write something down. When you go into our rate calculator that everybody has access to, and for some reason you don't get with Jay, he'll hook you up on it. I did a calculation now while Chris was speaking on our least expensive product that pops up on our whole life. $35,000 is $136 a month for the least expensive carrier that we have for a 65 female non-smoker. $136. If you have a client that wants to add coverage and you start looking at a whole life product, it's going to be kind of hard because you may throw them out of their price range. What a lot of agents are doing is that they're seeing how the client's health is, and what they're doing is that they're saying, okay, Mr. Client, your health is very good. Everything is doing very good with you. Let me see if I can work something out with you. And what they're switching is from a traditional whole life program into the Sagicor no lapse UL. And that same client at 65, female, non-smoker, can get a $60,000 no lapse UL for $122. So they're going to go from $35,000 to $60,000. They're going to go from a price point of $136 down to $122. So the way you shake it and bake it, they're going to reduce their premiums by $14 a month, and they're going to pick up an additional $25,000 worth of coverage. Now, what most agents do is they're going to try to stay around that $136. They may even go to $150 and get the client maybe close to $80,000, $90,000 worth of coverage. So the nice thing about the little rate calculator, you can go in there and you can play around with different face amounts, and all those things there, so you can offer the client something better than what they have, and you're going to have what you call one of the lowest premiums in the market right now. And hopefully the client's got some cash value in there. You can roll it into their savings account, or if they've had it for a long time, you can maybe start them like maybe a little small baby Roth IRA. So just think about all those different avenues that you can do with just one product. As I said in the beginning, the agent did a combination platter of a term product and a no-lapse UL to give him the peace of mind and protection all the way till the day that he goes to pass away. Plus, he gave him a 20-year window of opportunity for a mortgage, kids' college, paying off credit cards, or whatever may happen if the major breadwinner was to pass away. The rates I don't have in front of me, but the rates I know were very good because the agent was basically doing backflips on the phone, and they were very happy. So, do anybody have any more questions? Okay, Chris, I'm going to put you back in control. Thank you.
All right, very good. So one thing that I do want to touch on is a combined face amount. So when you're looking at combining Sage Term, Sage No Lapse, in this case it worked out perfectly because it stayed below that threshold. When Sagicor is looking at an individual client, and let's say you did write them a permanent life product, let's say you wrote them in the Simplify issue in the No Lapse Universal Life for $100,000, and now you want to come back for that mortgage protection in the term life. Remember, the maximum is $500,000 for 65 and under on that term life. So you're looking at a combined, and if you, let's say you want to go with $500,000 on the term life, just keep in mind there is $100,000 already in Simplify issue. So now the total death benefit for that one client becomes $600,000. That could throw them into a fully underwritten situation. So just remember, it's always looked at as a combined per individual on that Simplify issue process, and that, you know, that way you go in and you understand that process a little bit. As far as medical impairments, unfortunately, from my location, I don't have access to. I do have our accelerating guide, Joe, but if anybody has any questions about medical impairments, you're welcome to ask. We're really, you know, in the process brochure that we offer, I'm looking at right now developing a one-sheet marketing tool for you guys so that you can see the parameters and then possibly flip over to a combined medical impairment guide. The booklets that we offer are quite lengthy. They're very good, though. They go into a lot of detail. They have knockout prescription lists. They also have the knockout questions. It takes you step by step through the process. That's why I like that brochure. However, you've got to have one for the term. There's one for the no lapse and the whole life combined. And then our fixed index universal life that we offer is also has its own pamphlet as well. So you could be inundated with product brochures until we get a one-piece document that makes it a little easier for you. As far as the process, again, it works best if you're already fully appointed. So any of you out there that are interested in looking at Sagicor, you like the prices that you get from Joe or myself, we do a case design. Let's get your contracting paperwork started. Let's get that process done so that you have a great experience on your first application. Sometimes agents will write the app and not realize, you know, the appointment's pending, or maybe you've been terminated for non-production. We need to, you know, we do require reappointment with a new piece of business. In that situation, we would open up your portal so that you can use your existing writing number that we reactivate eventually so that you can write that e-app. That first one in that situation will take a little longer. So, again, just any questions that you guys have, you have direct access to me in the internal sales department. Joe is great about understanding our process and being able to run quotes for you, but we'd be happy to do any case design that we can.
And just to piggyback on what Chris said, all the accelerated implements or the illnesses your client may have, you go to our back office, you go to Dropbox, you look under Sagicor. Jay has all of those written down there: heart attack, stroke, insulin, diabetic, all that stuff there is a nice little cheat sheet for you. And now they're trying to make it into like a smaller combined thing. So it's something I think is very nice, because an agent called me last week and said, Joe, I got a client who had a heart attack 3 years ago. Well, you can have it, but yet it's going to be a rated product, okay? And sometimes the actual premium on that is sometimes better depending on the face amount you want. cancer 3 years ago, Sagicor is not the home for you. So it's going to let you know who you can put, what classification they're going to fall under, either preferred, standard, or rated, and then they're going to let you know is that we appreciate you thinking of us, but on this one here, we're going to pass on it. So, Chris, with that said, Jay, any more questions? Okay, nobody has any more questions. We've had kind of a quiet audience except for Mr. Orr. So, Chris, what I'm going to let you do is end the call, and as always, thank you very much, and appreciate you being on the call even though you're not in the office. And as always, thank you very much. Okay, I'll let you.
Thank you, Joe. And just one last note: anybody who wants to look at that process, kind of run some numbers. We do have a test site, a test producer site that you could log into to kind of go and look at the process, look at the e-app, run all the way through it to see how simple it is. Look at some of the numbers. The website is sagicoragent.com. The user ID to get in is test producer. That's all lowercase, all one word, test producer. The password is Sagicor, all lowercase. That's S like Sam, AGICOR, all lowercase. Once you're in, you just go to illustration/eApp and just kind of fumble through. You know, if you've been on there, you're going to understand the process. It's pretty self-explanatory, but you have any trouble getting through, getting started with the case design, you're going to pick your product line. You're going to pick the specific product, and then you're going to design the illustration and launch an application. You can walk through the entire process to get familiar with it before you have a meeting, even now. So I encourage you, if you would like to go onto that website and look at the process, you're welcome to do that with that login. Other than that, that's all I have. Thank you all. Joe, thank you as always. Really appreciate it. And we'll do another one of these. And the next time, hopefully, we can talk about that fixed index universal life product.
We definitely will. Thank you. Have a great day.
All right.
Thank you, guys.
Have a great day.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
The moderator has left the conference.